Ladies and gentlemen, and financially illiterate uncles who still think their 401k is a savings account, welcome back to Trades and Gains, the daily roast of Wall Street degeneracy. I'm your host, Max Pitts, and today we're going to rip this market open like a Florida Gator at a pool party parade, or a poodle parade for that matter. The S&P 500 at all-time highs, the NASDAQ breaking records, bond yields in the gutter. It's like a clown car of bullish optimism. And the clowns are all packing heat. So grab your Funyuns, sit your diamond hands down, and let's get into the news you actually need before you YOLO your rent money on zero-day contracts. So to kick things off, this is the setup, right? Our market snapshot, the S&P 500 saw a 0.52% gain, a new all-time closing high. The NASDAQ also with a 0.55% gain, giving it a new all-time closing high as well. The Dow broke 44,000 like it was busting through cheap IKEA furniture. Now, why did this happen? Well, a couple reasons. So for one, Canada caved on its big, bad digital tax. Hey, Canada, way to fold faster than a Costco U.S. lawn chair. U.S. trade negotiators loved it, and traders cheered harder than a drunk bro at a Taylor Swift concert. We also had Trump's tariff threats are still dangling like an unpaid parking ticket. July 9th is the next big deadline, but markets are praying if he gets bored and moves on to complaining about windmills or his wife. Bond yields sinking faster than a crypto influencer after a rug pull. With the 10-year down to 4.23%, mortgage rates dipped for the fourth straight week. If you want to overpay for a house you can barely afford, well, now is your chance. We also have the Senate wrestling over Trump's $4.5 trillion tax cut. The markets kept one eye glued to the Senate, where lawmakers are hacking through amendments on Trump's massive tax bill. Analysts fear a $3.3 trillion deficit blowout could rattle the bond market. And big tech is leading again, with Meta, NVIDIA, and Microsoft all flirting with fresh records on Monday, continuing to power the NASDAQ even higher. We also are seeing again, for those mortgage rates, the 30 years seeing a 6.76%, which is the lowest we've seen since May, the 15 years at 5.88%. Geopolitical tensions cooled and treasury yields softened. Housing bulls breathe a sigh of relief. Again, you're not affording that house, though. Now, let's go ahead and switch gears and head over to Investor Central Club, where we have a new offer for you. Today is your last day to use 130, but if you want to lock in a great price for the rest of your year, go ahead and use the code July 2025. That will get you 25% off an annual subscription. Go ahead and lock that up for the year so you never have to worry about paying for it until this time next year. So let's go ahead and, you degenerate flow junkies, here's the filth you're here for. Straight from Investor Central Club, X-ray on the tape. So first things first, let's look at our big money orders for the day today. So the big one that came in, we had the SPY 587, 54.24 million dropped. And these are due for today. This was a 0 day. So talk about some real degeneracy. You think they're scared? They bought 18,200 contracts just for today, like they're ordering a Costco hot dog. Someone wants a July 4th fireworks show for sure. QQQ, we saw for December 19th, 560 calls, $15.3 million block here. Again, that is just... These guys are Christmas shopping calls in June. Big tech stands are forever. They are more loyal than Taylor Swift fans, I'm pretty sure. We saw MSTR with the July 19th, it looks like. Let's go ahead. No, July 30th, 2025, 390 calls. We saw 3.89 million. That's a laser eye Michael Saylor fan club betting Bitcoin goes to the moon after the IRS finally gives them a call back. We also saw GLD come in with some heavy flow. The 315 calls hit 16.6 million in premiums. Gold bugs are living in 1979 again. 51,000 contracts. Yeah, baby, that's not what we're calling a hedge here. That's a religious statement for safe havens. We also saw TLT with the August 16th, it looks like, calls as well. And no, that the June 3rd, 2025 expiration for the $86 calls, $3.6 million block. Bond nerds are betting Powell folds harder than a dollar store deck of cards by September, and that is if he's still here. Now let's go ahead and talk about what the F was that and some weird orders that came through today. Our two of our biggest orders were SoFi, ironically enough. We saw SoFi pop off, like Meg the Stallion twerking on stage, but here come the put buyers, two $16 calls, or $16 puts in this case, one for August 15th and one for August 1st. But we had 1.3 million and 1.16 million dropped on these as well. These bros are hedging so hard, it's practically trauma therapy at this point. But those are also starting to pay out, as we saw SoFi retreated down to 1821 towards the end of market close. We also saw ARKK, August 15th, 2025, $57 puts came through, 699K dropped. Kathy Wood's dream is dying again. That poor woman's going to be selling Bored Apes for rent soon. We also saw AMAT with the March 20th, 2026 160 puts, a 794K block. That's a long dated semi put, either big brains or big meth. Who knows? And then we also saw Hood with the September 19th, $85 calls, 5 hits on the scanner. Robinhood traders are trying to save Robinhood. That's like jumping off a sinking ship with an anchor tied to your neck and hoping it doesn't snap it. Now let's talk about our flow scanner gems as well. Or wait, no, before we get into that, let's go over to our dark pool and talk about what we saw in the dark pool flow today. So the big things, we saw SPY with 865.39 million in QCTs at the $618 level. That's enough money to buy a couple countries. Someone's moving size like the IRS can't find them. QQQ, we saw 551 million at the $551 level, ironically enough. Someone is still praying for no recession and for the tech bulls to still come through. NVIDIA, we even saw some big prints here, 582 million at the 157.99 level. Again, because AI is a religion, if you don't believe in Jesus, you might as well believe in AI. Amazon, we saw 355 million in the dark pool with zero news. Kind of sus, Jeff. Kind of sus there, my guy. Google, we saw 351 million dark pool across. Quiet, sneaky, like a Tinder date who ghosts you, or we don't have to get into it. Now let's talk about our flow scanner for the day. Who is leading the pack? SPY leading the overall day with 106 million in flow today, with 75 million in calls against 30 million in puts. QQQ saw 37 million coming in second place with 29 million in calls against 7 million in puts. We saw NVIDIA come through with 25 million in total flow with 20 million in calls against 5 million in puts. We saw GLD also come through with 22 million in calls, or 22 million in overall flow with 21 million in calls and only 530K in puts. Our safe havens making a comeback here. And finally, to round off our top 5, we had Hood come in with 16.94 million in total flow with 15.37 million in total calls against 1.59 million in total puts. Now, let's go ahead and make like a condom and wrap this all up for you. So here's the sauce you really need to take away from this. The bulls are still charging on QQQ, NVIDIA, and MSTR. They are unkillable like cockroaches after a nuke. The big hedges on SoFi, AMAT, and ARKK, these are the fear trades. Don't ignore them if you're loaded up on tech. And the TLT and GLD flows just mean a chunk of big money is scared of Powell misstep or a Trump meltdown. The bottom line, Monday was not a sleepy start to July. It's a whale orgy with hedges, moonshots, and apocalypse protection all thrown in. If you're still trading off your buddy's Discord chat, well, you're just exit liquidity at that point and enjoy applying for a job at McDonald's. So Quick preview, because your ADHD is probably already acting up and you haven't even made it to this part of the video, which, hey, sucks for you. That's why you're trading blind. But Thursday, we have non-farm payrolls expected, plus 116,000. That's the main event. We have Trump's July 9th tariff deadline. That's a nuclear warhead aimed at risk on. ISM services Thursday. Market loves it or pukes. And Thursday, markets are closes early. Friday, closed for July 4th. Plan accordingly, you beautiful degenerates. All right, final word. Markets are high. Big money is wild. Dark pools are sneaky. And Powell is playing chicken with recession. It's record highs today, but next week might be a holiday hangover nobody wants. Trade smart, stay hedged, don't be a clown, or be a clown. Just remember, clowns get eaten first. Smash that subscribe button, leave your hottest take in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow, assuming the market hasn't been nuked by a Trump tweet. Have a great night.